Football on Off the Ball.
With Sky. All the football you love in one place. Across Sky Sports, BT Sport and Premier Sports.
I've said to them this morning as well, trust yourself. We're better than this. We've not been able to show it. But go out, chest out, enjoy being a Man United player. Champions League, the biggest stage. If and when you win the game, you're through to the next round. Michael's going to be in charge. I've got the utmost respect. I love Michael to bits. Becoming emotional now because he's top, and they'll be fine. I'll watch them and support them.
Just a snippet of a 12-minute interview Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did on MUTV after his departure over the weekend. Happy to say we've Andy Mitten with us, editor of United We Stand. Hi, Andy.
Hi.
That video, much discussed online, it was held up initially as an example of Manchester United prioritising clicks and content above all else. And to be fair, they do like clicks and content. But then it emerged the video was at the insistence of Solskjaer. He wanted to do it. And I have to say, all the making fun of the video being held up as further proof as to why he's not cut out to be a manager is reductive, it's lazy, it's cruel. I think he came across brilliantly, I would say, in that video. He instigated it for valid reasons, doesn't want to be doing interviews for the next 2 months solid or dealing with requests. He was magnanimous, he was classy, wished the players well, said good things, heartfelt things, talked about missing his family. They were in Norway, he was in Manchester for the pandemic, and really, you would say, why aren't all managers showing a bit more empathy and genuine kind of love, I suppose, for the club that they've worked for? If anything, it's to others' shame that they don't say goodbye to the fans. I mean, I just thought the ridiculing of Solskjaer around that video was actually said more about the people doing the ridiculing.
Yeah, he did, and everything you said there made sense. And I actually saw the initial reaction to it, and I tweeted that actually Ole had asked to do that video, which he did. And he's entitled to get the message across. It was something he absolutely wanted to do. And he did it, and I thought he did it well. And felt slightly conflicted as to whether it was a good or bad idea. But I respect his choice to do it. And I think most people welcomed it. I don't think it was hugely different than when David Moyes left, and I got a text off him saying, can you just pass on my apologies to United fans that they supported me, and I'm only sorry that I couldn't give them the results that they've been accustomed to and the success that they deserve. David wasn't prolific on social media and still isn't, and technology's moved somewhat, even if Manchester United's title challenges haven't since 2014. But I had no issue with Ole doing that, and I'd communicated with him today. He's all right. He's okay. It's obviously been a very difficult couple of days for him and for some of the people close to him, but it usually is when people lose their jobs, and every manager at some point loses his job. There's very few walk away on their terms like Sir Alex Ferguson did, and he lost his job because the results have been bad and because the performances have been bad. And one thing he'd said to me was, I'm not going to let that colour what was a fantastic experience at a club he loves. And I respect that. I wish it wouldn't have come to this. I thought he was doing a good job until a couple of months ago. But it's been really bad since. And United decided to give him a final chance to arrest the slump. But things got even worse at Watford. And I wouldn't say you can stomach losing to Liverpool and Manchester City because United were hammered by both of them. But to concede 4 to Watford, who were second favourites to go down, it just showed that the players, for whatever reason, are not playing. And it's all right. Bruno Fernandes going up to the 3,000 fans in the away end and saying, it's not on him, it's on us. Well, the only way to change that is by playing well, because the fans think differently. And United haven't done that. And Bruno, who was so good when he came to Manchester United in January 2020, he's been one of the poorest players in the recent slump as well. So it's partly on him. The manager's got to take some of it as well, because he is the manager. He's paid millions of pounds to make the right decisions, choose the right formations, get it right tactically. And United just look like a team who've completely lost the way. And I've been saying since the start of October, I've got so many people coming up to me saying, I love Ole, but there was always a but. And the but was that they weren't convinced he was the right man to take the club forward.
Yeah.
I think he has taken the club forward since he arrived. Shame that he didn't win anything. I think that defeat in Gdansk to Villarreal on penalties really hurt him. I spoke to him straight after that game and he was gutted. And that's just football.
Ed Woodward is staying on to oversee the next phase of what's happening with the managerial vacancy, which will, I suspect, for most Manchester United fans, not be regarded as a good thing, given his track record. Ed Woodward is staying on. We have John Murtagh as football director. We have Darren Fletcher as technical director. We have Richard Arnold as the club's managing director. And we have Joel Glazer. And then to what extent Alex Ferguson is consulted, I don't know. Who do you think is making the key decisions here?
Ed Woodward is making key decisions, and I think what you said at the start is right. He's basically overseen the appointments of 4 managers who haven't worked out since he took the job in 2013.
Which begs the question, doesn't it? Begs the question.
Of course it does. Of course it does. And he knows that as well. But his bosses, because he's not the overall boss, is Joel Glazer. And they might view the criteria of success differently to what Manchester United fans view as success. And he has made United have continued to be profitable, commercially successful. Am I comfortable even saying this? Not at all. I don't even think Glazers should be in charge of Manchester United. That should never have been allowed to happen in 2005. Of the other names that you've mentioned, I respect Darren Fletcher's football knowledge greatly. John Murtagh knows football. Richard Arnold's more for commercial. He's not a football man. And Joel Glazer's not. So that is the majority of the makeup of some of the decision makers. I could add some more names to that if you want. Matt Judge, he's the one who's fielding the calls at the moment from agents who are putting their clients in, either as interim manager of Manchester United or to be permanent manager of Manchester United. And it's not just those people. When United identify a player, there will be people, coaches, football staff there, some of them with really good CVs actually, but a low profile. And they might even vote on a player, whether to bring him in or not. The scouting teams will come and say, we've identified this person, and there's various opinions go into that. The manager would have the final say. The manager might not even always vote on whether a player joins or not. He can abstain if he wants to. But that's all about recruitment. And I think Ole did okay for recruitment. I think the jury's still out on some of the players that he's brought in. But you're asking me now a really bad moment for Manchester United. And had you asked me a season ago whether Aaron Wan-Bissaka was a good signing, I'd probably give you a very different answer to the one I give you now, because he's not been playing well.
Yeah. So let's talk about the 2 appointments which are going to have to be made. This unusual situation of the interim to the end of the season. We'll start there. What names are you hearing?
Well, I think Pochettino has put himself forward. Am I allowed to say the term "come and get me" plea, even though he's manager of PSG?
Yeah.
So those noises that have come out today, and I think he would be welcomed by a lot of Manchester United fans. He's an established name. He did very well at Tottenham, took Tottenham to a Champions League final, didn't win anything. And he was always seen as maybe the man who could replace, if not Jose Mourinho, then Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And then he's gone to PSG. I'm not sure of the internal politics of PSG, whether they'll let him go or not.
But you have heard that Pochettino is absolutely open to a mid-season move.
I've heard that, but I don't know him beyond hello as a journalist. There are other managers who I know better, or I know people who know them. I know people who know Zidane, and at no point have I heard that he wants to manage Manchester United. I know Luis Enrique from doing interviews with him. At no point have I heard that he's not happy managing the Spanish national team. And then you've got the interim managers. I know that Rudy Garcia, for example, who did well at Roma, won the double with Lille. He would be interested in that role. His last job was at Olympique Lyon, and he managed that side which knocked Manchester City out of the Champions League last season with those 3 teenage midfield players. So there are people of a good calibre who are prepared to take that interim job. But as you said at the start, it is slightly unusual. Well, it's very unusual. I've never heard of it before.
No.
Certainly not at Manchester United. And with each appointment, you could have a soap opera. But it just shows how unplanned Manchester United and unprepared United were, because they gave Ole a new contract 4 months ago, and even 2 months ago, things were going all right. And even in Bergamo, I spoke to some of the people who we've been mentioning, and Ole's position was secure. And I was seeing people saying he's got 3 games. I had no evidence of that whatsoever. And I don't just believe the club's version of events. I'm speaking to people from the other side of it who were putting their managers into Manchester United, and they were coming back to me and saying, yep, they've taken the call, they've said thank you very much, but they've maintained that for now they're sticking with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So I believe that has been a chain of events up to now.
Because this business of the interim manager till the end of the season has the potential to make Manchester United a laughing stock. It's not a particularly attractive proposition. You go in there pretty much as a lame duck manager, as in, if I'm a player and I don't like what you're telling me or how you're coaching, I'm thinking to myself, well, who are you? You're not going to be here very long. And so your authority is very questionable to begin with. So that has the potential over the course of 6 months. This isn't, 3-4 games and just get us through to the end of the season. That has the potential to make Manchester United a laughing stock if that goes badly. If Pochettino's open to the move, then that solves a huge number of their problems. That's the winner for them, I would think.
Yeah, I agree with that, if he's open to the move, but I don't know the internals at PSG. I think that would be absolutely welcomed by most Manchester United fans if they said tomorrow, our new manager is Mauricio Pochettino. And I know people who've worked with him. I knew him when he was at Espanyol. When he was at Southampton, I knew someone who knew him very well. And I know people who've played under him, and he'd get a very good report from what I've heard, but I'm not the one making the decision. With regard to your other point, yes, United could become a laughingstock, but you could also look at it another way. You might be an experienced manager looking at Manchester United now and thinking they are hugely underperforming given the players that they've got. And I'm good at my job. I know what I'm doing. I can go in there and get a football team performing again, because that's what my job is. That's what I'm good at. And there are people who've got the confidence to do that. I'm not saying that is going to happen, but it's still an attractive job, Manchester United. And the idea that it's a 6-month job, I get that. It's not appealing, especially if you're contracted to another club. But there still are people who would fancy the chances doing that. It's all about results. But this United team with this collection of players has underperformed so badly. And you might say that the players might try and undermine the manager straight away. If you're a professional footballer, I think you'd probably prefer to win games above everything else and play well, rather than go to work each morning thinking, how can I undermine my boss today? Because they're getting some of the flack as well, and quite right, because the performances of a lot of them has dipped off. So a winning team and a happy ship is better for everybody. You're always going to get grumbles from players who are left out, who are on the bench, who feel that they're not getting the chances. And that's fair enough. If you're Donny van de Beek, I won't be happy. And that's fair enough. That happens at a lot of big clubs. I've seen it with other players.
So let's say PSG is too difficult for Pochettino to extricate himself from mid-season. From what you've heard, Andy, and so much as you can hear about these things, how well disposed at the club are they to Brendan Rodgers?
I've not heard anything concrete on Brendan Rodgers. And again, I'm a journalist. I'm dealing with the facts that I know. I could nod along and say, yeah, I'm hearing good things, but I'm not hearing bad things either. I'm not specifically asking about Brendan Rodgers. If you get me on in a week's time, I might be in a better position to answer the question, but I'd just rather than go on the balance of probability and pretend that I know something I don't. But Rodgers is well respected in football. I know that he knocked United out the FA Cup last year. There's the Liverpool connection, which saw him ridiculed by Manchester United fans, but fans can be hypocritical as well as being extremely loyal. Matt Busby had been at Liverpool one day as well, and he became one of Manchester United, if not the greatest ever Manchester United manager. I think with the names that we're mentioning, there's doubts over all of them. I don't think you're ever going to get a player with the sort of approval ratings that Jose Mourinho had when he came to United in 2016. And we were doing regular polls among fans. Mourinho at that point got 85% approval ratings from Manchester United fans. Ryan Giggs was second with about 8%. And I don't think anyone will be touching 85% now. I think Pochettino, if he came in, people would be like, yeah. But he's not won anything.
Conte would have got pretty close to 85%, I would think. And, you know, his style of football is, I think, unfairly maligned. In his title-winning season at Chelsea, I think they scored more goals than United in 10 of their 12, 13 Premier League seasons. So Conte, when things are going well, plays great football. And the big issue Conte has at clubs is that they stop backing him. That would not have been an issue at Manchester United. Look how much money they've wasted over the last number of years. I never fully understood the sitting on their hands when Conte was there to be grabbed.
Yeah, and it looks even worse now with the benefit of hindsight. I think if United would have really wanted to go for him, then they would have gone for him. But clearly they didn't. They wanted it to work out with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and it didn't work out. And Conte is a brilliant manager who's got the trophies to back that up. I've spoke to people who played under him, and they backed that up, said he's a brilliant manager. But they also said he'll blow up after a year or two.
Well, United are on a 2-year average at the moment anyway.
United aren't winning anything, so even if you get a good year, then that's better than nothing. But I don't think that fits in with what Manchester United think that they stand for. But that seems all pretty unclear at the moment, because it was all about this cultural reboot and long-term progression. And I think Ole was actually doing all right. That second place finish last year, no one expected that. And there's no trophy parades for second. And it's not like it was, but this is how it is now in 2021.
Interesting couple of weeks ahead, I suspect. Andy Mitten, editor of United We Stand. Thanks so much, Andy. I know you're busy. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Andy Mitten there. And by the way, just on the footballing front, we want to send you and a friend to the Ireland-Slovakia game this Thursday at Tallaght Stadium. We've 5 pairs of tickets to give away, all with thanks to our football partner at Sky. So to get your name in this evening's draw, just identify our mystery voice. Very fondly remembers an evening of karaoke with Richie McCormick.
He started singing that Don't Worry Be Happy song to me.
Text your name and answer. They still talk about it.
He started singing that Don't Worry Be Happy song to me.
To 53106 for 30 cents, all with thanks to Sky. All the football you love in one place across Sky Sports, BT Sport and Premier Sports.
Football on Off the Ball.
With Sky, proud partner and supporter of the Republic of Ireland women's national football team.
This is News Talk. Lunchtime Live.
My granddaughter Sarah, she is 16. And yesterday she was playing for Roscommon Women under 19 in the GAA. And they won. And she scored 2 points. Well, listen, I was lit up for the day. Woohoo!
Lunchtime Live with Andrea Gilligan.
Brought to you by Avant Money.
Weekdays at midday on News Talk.
No matter how busy we are, how can we make the most of our lives each day? By spending quality time together or spending time giving back? However you spend each day with Debit MasterCard, spend it doing what matters most to you. Because a life well spent is truly priceless. Learn more at mastercard.ie.